All stations, this is Sailing Trilleen.
Welcome back to Sailing Trilleen. Join me this week as I remove the boom and prepare the mast to be lifted out, and then we actually managed to lift the mast out without any further damage, and also as I go for a bit of a Neolithic Nerdout.
I'm Ian Wiley. Join me in my disability sailing adventure as I circumnavigate the UK and Ireland solo over 2 seasons. I'm raising funds for the Andrew Castle Foundation, the sailing charity helping disabled sailors reach maximum independence on the water. Join me on this voyage in pursuit of hope, equality and recovery.
So the evil day has come and I'm about to start pulling the rig on Trilleen. That means that everything that I put on a few videos ago has got to come off. The boom, the mainsail, the stack pack, and then I'll have to start worrying about all the other garbage that's on the mast, but that will be coming off. And hopefully later this week we'll be lifting the mast out and this sailboat will be turning into a motorboat for a while.
The process isn't very complicated on Trilleen. I start at the front and remove the main from the track. That means pushing the sail slides up the mainsail track and reversing them down through the gate, which is like a switch in a railway line. In this case, it allows them to escape the track completely. The bottom slides won't come free unless the outhaul is released and the tack pin removed. The outhaul normally keeps the foot of the sail at the tension best for that point of sail. Once those are both gone, the sail can be completely freed from the mast and carefully fed forward along the boom and onto the side deck. From there it's a case of folding the sail into a nice tidy parcel. That's a process which is harder when I'm on my own. Fortunately today is quiet, which makes it possible. It's also a great time to check over the sail and look for any damage, although in this case there better not be any since the sail hasn't done any work since its last service.
Thanks for viewing. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you could click that button. It makes a huge difference to the growth of the channel and it will help more people hear about the great things that sailing can do for disabled people. Excellent news, just got the go ahead to bring Trilleen round to the fuel dock to have her mast pulled, lifted out of the boat so that we can start making progress to getting a new mast into her and undoing the incident that occurred a few weeks ago where her mast got bent. Fortunately it's not terribly windy today, which is nice because obviously that makes manoeuvring the boat easier, and the wind is blowing onto the berth here and it will be blowing onto the berth in the fuel dock, which makes everyone's life easier. So I need to disconnect the electricity and switch the mooring lines around because it's actually easier to go head into the fuel dock. So at the moment the boat's being blown into the berth, which means that all the weight is on the spring from the bow to the midships, and that allows us to switch the other lines round without any problems.
I've discovered that I'm seriously particular about mooring, tying boats up. I insist on my lines being fast to the dock with a bowline and a round turn, so the first thing I need to do is end for end those lines, so their loose ends are on the dock and it's easy to bring them back onto Trilleen. My particularity is because it cuts down the clutter on the dock, which threatens to trip me over as soon as it gets a chance. Falling into the water on the marina is just as dangerous as doing so off the sailboat, and I do try to avoid it. Then it was time for the most exciting bit of boating I get to do at the moment, moving Trilleen from one berth in the marina to another. Hopefully someday I'll get to do something at least a little bit more interesting. I confess that after Trilleen's last encounter with a crane, which you will recall went very wrong, I was more than slightly apprehensive about the process of lifting Trilleen's mast out and landing it on the jetty. There's a long list of things that can go wrong whenever a crane's involved, and I'm really quite keen not to have any more personal experiences of them. I have to say though, the riggers were fantastic and matched the level of service and care that I associate with the best yards and marinas. I know riggers do this stuff every day in its routine, but I still find it deeply unnerving watching as they uncouple one critical stay after another. In this case, I needn't have worried. The prep work I'd done, combined with their skills, meant that very soon the rig was ready to lift. Crane clear of the deck without further damage, it was laid down on trestles. For the first time, the damage could be formally assessed without rig tension, and it's clear that the column has been significantly compromised, so the call on needing a new mast is sadly right. I don't have any more information on timelines, but the yard are talking to Selden daily. We were a bit confused by the initial specification they sent, so I'm very grateful to members from the Vancouver Yachts Association who have sent me their mast serial numbers, which should make it easier for Selden to trace a mast.
And now, as promised, here is the Neolithic Nerdout as I go to a very special sort of stone circle in Aberdeenshire. So I had occasion to come through to Aberdeen while Trilleen has her mast being refitted, and I thought I would stop off at East Ochori Stone Circle. I've probably massacred the pronunciation of that, but I'll put it on screen. This is a remarkable type of stone circle found only here in the northeast of Scotland. Recumbent stone circle where a altar-like slab was placed. Most of the flanking stones here are a peculiarly pink porphyry, but there is one stone which is a pink jasper, which is remarkable to find here. The whole stone circle has been built onto the south face of a hill looking up towards Donside, away from the sea. It's a remarkable place and still commands very significant power while you walk round it. It's remarkable to wonder why people 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 3000 BC would have gone to the vast trouble and expense in terms of survival to construct such a thing. Thank you for joining me this week. That's all from Sailing Trilleen.
Sailing Trilleen, out.